Guys, Nike is now leaking sneakers. The insanely hyped sneaker collaboration we've all been waiting for is now confirmed. And are Yeezys actually cancelled? We've got a ton to talk about this week on Sneaky Sunday, so before we hop into the upcoming stuff, let's do a quick little release recap. All over white pair of Drake Nocta Glides release. I believe these actually sold out, whereas the original or first colorway didn't. The Air Jordan 1 Low 85 neutral gray drop, it's a solid pair of ones. Of course, the Cherry 12s dropped yesterday. Let me know if you went for these things. And finally, for you guys out in the US, there was a huge restock on the Nike sneakers app for a ton of dunks. Let me know if you managed to get any of these things, or like usual, were they just way too limited. Alright, hopping into the upcoming stuff, and let's kick this off with Nike's Finders Keepers digital scavenger hunt. So apparently this is kicking off tomorrow, October the 30th. Last year, according to Sneaker News, there was plenty of popular styles of the Air Jordan, Nike Air Max, and Nike Dunk. So essentially this is a 5-day event, and it's only taking place on the Nike app, the regular one, not the Nike sneakers app, and of course Nike's website. So you basically have to follow clues to find secret sneakers, Top Gear, exclusive access, and more. But yeah, if you wanted to participate, you don't have to do anything. Nike will send you a notification, so I guess the only thing you can do is just turn notifications on if you actually wanted to join in. Nike was like, you know what, everybody just keeps leaking our shoes before they release, so why don't we just do it first? Because they dropped a jam-packed live stream basically teasing all of these different 2024 sneaker releases. So to kick off the live stream, they started off with some dunks that they leaked that were going to be dropping 2024, starting with the medium Curry. The Ultraman was pretty cool. I was excited to see these things. And then finally, the Silver Surfer Nike dunk is going to be making a return next year. Some foam posits. We've got two different colorways that are going to be dropping, the Neon Royals and then the Eggplant colorway. Air Force One takes a world tour. We've got 3 different colorways of this. I believe there's a Las Vegas, Seoul, and Shanghai. The Air Max Thunder is coming back in a plethora of different colorways, including the original, a lot of neon. The Nike Air 180 is coming back. This is crazy. In the ultramarine colorway, this is going to be dropping fall 2024. And then they decided to whip out the Nike Clogposit in 3 different colorways. Another original colorway of the Air Max 1 Big Bubble. This time it's in the Royal colorway. This is going to be a woman's exclusive, but extended sizes are confirmed. We've got a bunch of different ACG sneakers coming through. Something that we have already seen leaked and rumored is the 2 February releases, which is the Nike SB Dunk Low City of Love. We've got 2 different colorways. We've got an entire Pegasus collection, including the Pegasus 2K5, and one of my favorites, at least from what it looks like, is the Pegasus Wave. The Terra Homara is coming back, and another one of these footscapes. And then pretty surprisingly, Nike is going to be bringing back the LD 1000 SP next fall. Let me know if there's any of these on this list that you were super hyped for them to come back. Drop it down in the comments. Right, we got some releases right around the corner. Kicking it off, the Occult Wool Converse Geo Forma boot is going to be dropping in a triple black colorway. I imagine this is going to be more popular than the first 2, but I'm not entirely sure. I think these do look the best. These are going to be dropping right around the corner, November the 7th. Sticking with boots, look what they have done to the Jordan 1. What the hell is this? Yes, guys, what you're looking at is just a completely modified, extended, pulled apart pair of Jordan 1s, and they've turned it into some kind of platform combat boot. So it comes with all of the same Jordan 1 panels. They've just freaking extended the top of it and the bottom. Now, these are the official images, so I expect they drop very, very soon, but we have no specific release date. Couple dunks dropping right around the corner. The Kyler Murray Nike SB Dunk Low B1 of 1 drops November 10th. It kind of just feels like something Nike would drop that's not a collaboration. I'm not the biggest fan of the colorway either. The Nike SB Dunk Low Tight Boot is going to be dropping on November the 11th. It's a solid colorway, solid collaboration, but nothing that I think is really going to compete with some of the incredible SB Dunks that we've had this year. We've got some more images of the Jordan 3 Craft Ivory, which are going to be dropping on March the 2nd. I don't know if you guys have seen the on-foot shots just yet. They're looking pretty solid if you ask me. Like, it doesn't completely change the model itself. You just have some very small tweaks to it, like the back tab, which has both the Nike and Jordan branding. Over on the tongue, you've got 2 Jumpmans, which I think is pretty cool, but also very subtle. You've got tiny little pieces of added material, like the suede that kind of peeks up around the elephant print. And then, of course, the colorway, just clean as hell, super neutral, and very wearable. So yeah, this is turning out to be one of the more hyped Jordan 3s that are going to be dropping next year. We've got some more 2024 leaks, starting with the Jordan 5 RKO Brown. These are going to be dropping at some point in 2024. We don't know when exactly. Nike is going to be continuing the Kobe Halo collection with two different Kobe 9 releases. One of them I'm pretty excited about, which is the Elite version. This is basically following along from the Kobe 8 Halo that we just got in August. These are expected to drop next August and probably be something that kind of continues every single Kobe day. Something that I thought was really cool was Nike's new Air Max Day sneaker. This is something that looks very interesting. These are apparently going to be called the Air Max DN, and they look incredibly futuristic and just kind of a nice silhouette in general. I mean, the midsole looks thick as hell. You've kind of got like these air pods. They're just like little circular spheres. Here's a better look at the full pair of shoes, and I just really wonder how comfortable this is going to be, because that back with all of those air pods really looks like it's going to squish down nice. Again, these are expected Air Max Day, which I think is typically March, isn't it? Next year. We got our first looks at another Nike SB collaboration, this time with the Dior or Greenwood. So the colorway is absolutely wow. You also have this huge ribbon that runs down the top of the laces on the front of the shoe, which just makes these things even crazier. And you've got some pretty cool details around the back. A very different looking sock liner, which just looks to be leather instead of like super padded material that Nike normally has. We have no idea when they're actually going to be dropping, so if we get any more updates, I'll let you guys know. Alright, some pretty massive news. We're going to be getting two brand new Maniere and Jordan collaboration, kicking it off with the Air Jordan 3 Women's Burgundy Crush. You know, Maniere teamed up with Jordan Brand on the Air Jordan 3 before, and that turned out to be like sneaker of the year for most people. Everybody freaking loved it. Now they're going to be releasing another collaboration in what looks like another colorway for 2024. Now this speculative mock-up of what the colorway could look like was done by Z Sneakerheads, which typically is pretty accurate. I think what a lot more people are going to be excited about is also they're not just dropping these, they're going to be doing another Jordan 4. So I don't know if you guys remember the first Maniere Jordan 4 collaboration. When that was leaked and rumored, this is what the first kind of speculative mock-ups looked like. To differentiate itself, it's probably going to look something a little bit more like this than the one that we just got. These are going to be dropping alongside the 3s. They're both women's exclusives, so we can potentially expect extended sizing because that's what they've done in the past, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, as of right now, people are super hyped. These are the most accurate mock-ups that we have. As soon as we get actual photos of them, I'll let you guys know. Speaking of Jordan 4s, guess who else is going to be getting their very own Jordan 4 collaboration? Nigel, Sylvester. And these are going to be dropping fall 2024. Now, as of right now, we don't even have a rendered image of what this potentially could look like, but we do have a SKU number, and we also have a color code. Midnight green, metallic platinum black sail, dark smoke gray, university red. So it seems like it's going to be a very dark pair of 4s with maybe some midnight green in there and some university red accents. I'm pretty excited because I've really liked what I've seen from them so far, even though it's all been like exclusive friends and family pairs. Another pair of 4s that we're going to be getting next year is the women's exclusive Air Jordan 4 Sail. These are going to be dropping somewhat earlier in the year, March 2024. Not the greatest images, but you can see that it's all over sail with some gold accents. Again, they're going out with these metallic details. So over here on the lace eyelets, you've got two very shiny gold pieces. Probably like the Frozen Moments pair is just going to be kind of spray painted, so it's not like actual gold or anything like that. Not that you expected it to be. It's looking pretty simple. It looks somewhat premium because it is completely leather, at least from these images. There's no other kind of plastic details other than the back tab and the eyelets. We've got some more very detailed images of those pair of black and white ones that are going to be dropping next year. The Jordan 1 High OG black and white. This is a spring 2024 release. There's nothing too incredibly special going on with this pair of shoes. It's just kind of like a safe bet in terms of a colorway. These are lining up to be one of the first Jordan 1 releases for 2024, coming with a February 24th release. Alright, we got some more Jordan Spizikes coming next year, specifically the low version. This is the first looks at the Houston Oilers colorway. This one is looking pretty cold, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool. I'm definitely not against this pair of shoes. I think it looks very nice in this colorway. The Spizike is going to have a big return next year. There's a bunch of different colorways, and this is going to be one of them sometime early 2024. We got our first looks at the next upcoming Fragment and Nike collaboration. This time they're doing a Zoom Spiridon. We've already got some on-foot shots at these things, and they're in the Fragment, or at least somewhat the Fragment colors. They're all over navy for the upper, which looks to be a mixture of suede and canvas, and then you've got some white accents in there too. As far as Fragment branding on here, the only kind of things I can see is this little Fragment logo peeking up from the tongue. Underneath the pair of shoes, you can see some more Fragment branding. As of right now, we don't know exactly when they're going to drop, just at some point next year. Slay Benberry and Crocs are going to be dropping some more colorways next month. As you can see from this image over here, it shows the 3 different colorways that we're going to be getting. 2 different Crocs Pollux versions, so this yellow one, this all over tan one, and then an all over tan pair of slides. All 3 of these, it looks like, are going to be dropping on the 11th of November. One of them is going to be a GS size. So a couple days ago, this story popped up where a car crashed into a Chicago sneaker store and stole $100,000 worth of merch. So this was a sneaker resale store. It was called the Flea Club. It was burglarized Wednesday morning as an SUV crashed into the resale store's entrance with 4 to 5 people stealing over $100,000 in sneakers, apparel, and more. The Flea Club has been targeted several times throughout the years, but recent smash and grab is perhaps the worst of all of them for the business. What's even crazier is that this has happened multiple times, specifically in Chicago. Just in the past week, 3 separate smash and grab robberies, all very similar, specifically targeting sneaker resale stores. And it's crazy when you package this with all of the thefts that have been taking place with Nike's facilities and basically their entire supply chain. And the comments on this post were pretty crazy. Some people saying that Nike created this whole resale beast by making their shoes so limited. Demand for these shoes is so bad that people are just stealing them in order to resell them. And then some other people on this post were saying that some of these resale shops are really struggling and this could potentially be some kind of insurance fraud. But as of right now, all we know is that it's a very crazy string of smash and grabs that took place. I mean, 3 in 1 week is pretty bizarre. All right, final story for today. We got to talk about this whole Yeezy situation. So earlier this week, a bunch of stories came out that apparently Yeezys were cancelled. So something that we've all been speculating for a while now is that Adidas was going to be dropping another round of their Yeezys. We saw the first kind of releases in May where they dropped a bunch of stock. The next one, I believe, was in August. And based off of all of the leaks and rumors of other Yeezy sneakers that we've seen and had already been in production, we know that Adidas had a lot of other pairs to drop. And everyone was speculating that it was supposed to take place this October or November. Turns out, apparently, they were planning another huge drop this November. But according to these stories, Adidas cancelled or paused the entire thing. So it says here, Adidas will not move forward with a plan to release more leftover Yeezy stock through the end of this year. The brand had planned to bring more Adidas Yeezys to the market starting in November, but according to an internal Adidas memo from last week that was shared with Complex, the release of the next wave of Yeezys is on pause. Now, after this story was published basically saying that it was just paused and we are going to be getting more maybe next year, a lot of other people were saying that this is just completely cancelled. Rumors say the postponement will only last until 2024. However, our sources put an end to the future of Yeezy and Adidas drops. Now, Adidas didn't specifically say why they're putting all of these releases on pause or potentially cancelling them, but according to Complex, sources say the decision was motivated by the Israel-Hamas war, which makes sense from Adidas's standpoint. They don't want to get any pushback by dropping Yeezys at this time. But it also seems slightly weird. I mean, Adidas did decide to make the controversial decision to begin with to drop Yeezys. With that, they decided that some of the profits from the sales of these Yeezys would go to charitable organizations working to combat discrimination and hate, including racism and anti-Semitism. Anyway, it does kind of seem as of right now, it's just up to Adidas's discretion. I think they're trying to play this game of like, how much money can we make without getting too much blowback? So as of right now, we're not going to be getting any more Yeezys here in 2023, and the future of the entire rest of them is also unknown at this point. I also wanted to touch on this news story that came out in the midst of all of this. And honestly, I wasn't entirely sure whether to cover this or not, because when I first saw it, it kind of felt like we're beating a dead horse over here, and we've seen a bunch of these articles that all kind of said the same thing. The 10 wild details about Kanye West's misconduct with Adidas. It's an entire breakdown of the whole Adidas and Kanye West collaboration dating back all the way to 2013. Nice Kicks did a little bulleted version of it where they just kind of touched on all of the highlights. Some very crazy stuff is in this article. When I was reading it, I was like, where did this article come from? Why are they talking about it now? Because this dates back to 2013. This story was broke by the New York Times, and if you guys want to read this original article that was written, it's super long, super detailed, and again just goes over the entire history of Kanye West and Adidas. Interviewed a bunch of current and former Adidas employees as well as employees of Kanye West. They also obtained hundreds of previously undisclosed internal records. However, I believe all all of the Adidas and Kanye West employees that participated in this article have all remained anonymous. When I first saw this, I wasn't entirely sure what to make of it, because as we know, as soon as Adidas dropped Kanye West, there was tons of articles digging up the past of the collaboration. There's not really much to go on, like we don't really have any videos or proof or anything like that, so it's hard to really say and make a comprehensive decision about any of this. In other Yeezy news, Kanye West has filed more trademarks with hints at upcoming products. First one is Yeezy Pods, so he's potentially working on some kind of headphones or earphones. He's also apparently working on different things like toothbrushes, headphones, and housing. He's filed for the name Yeezy Pods, also Shocks, which is clothing, t-shirts, undershirts. Jerome is another one he filed for. And then Villadome, potentially that's more of the housing side of things. People are kind of speculating that this is the Kanye West comeback where he drops an album, releases a bunch of his new shoes and clothing as well. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But there you have it, guys. That is all the news. Again, we do this every single Sunday, so join me next week for another episode of Sneaky Sundays. And if there's anything I didn't talk about in this week's episode, we'll catch up on last week's over there.